Giant 7 to 8 foot skeletons uncovered in Ecuador have now been sent for scientific testing. Strikingly tall skeletons uncovered in Ecuador and Peru, Amazon region, are undergoing examination in Germany. Strikingly tall skeletons examined by German scientists, according to a research team headed by British anthropologist Russell Dement. Will these remains prove that a race of tall people existed hundreds of years ago deep in the Amazonian forest? According to Cuenca news site, since 2013, a team has found half a dozen human skeletons dating to the early 1400s and the mid 1500s, which measure between 7 and 8 feet tall in height. Dement said, "We are very early in our research and I am only able to provide a general overview of what we have found. I don't want to make claims based on speculation since our work is ongoing. Because of the size of the skeletons, this has both anthropological and medical implications." Skeletal remains in Ecuador and Peru. In late 2013, Dement received word that the skeleton had been uncovered by a Shuar local approximately 70 miles from Cuenca in Loja province, Ecuador. Dement traveled to the site and he recovered a rib cage and a skull of a female exposed by flooding. The bones were thought to date to 600 years ago. The rest of the skeleton was located and, once assembled, reportedly measured 7 feet 4 inches in height. This prompted the formation of a research team including 4 researchers from Freie Universität in Germany and the assistance of Shuar locals. The university provided funding for excavation and investigation. And recognizing it as a controversial area of research, Dement noted, "Even though I had been working with Freie for many years, I was concerned that they might not give a grant for someone looking for giants. To outsiders, especially scientists, I understand this sounds a little harebrained," he said. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. Now, we shouldn't be surprised. I mean, even the early explorers in the 1600s found and recorded concerning the Patagonian giants, and we also have the Native American legends of the giants of North America. Now, the German scientists said because of the sensational nature of this, we have to be extremely diligent in our research since it will be met with a great deal of skepticism. Within 6 months of excavations and mapping at the 2 sites, the one outside of Cuenca and the other settlement dating to about 1550, approximately 20 miles away on the Ecuadorian-Peruvian border, the team found 5 more tall skeletons as well as artifacts. Dement and colleagues believe that the tribe at the second site had been at the settlement for at least 150 years. The 3 complete skeletons and 2 partial skeletons had no disfiguration and suggested that they were relatively healthy. Dement said the skeletons show no signs of disease, such as a hormonal growth problem that are common in most cases of gigantism. In all the skeletons, the joints seemed healthy and the lung cavity appeared large. One of the skeletons that we have dated was a female who was about 60 when she died, much older than typical cases of gigantism, reported Cuenca High Life. Now, the burials were elaborate. Bodies were wrapped in leaves and buried in thick clay. This sealed the skeletons and protected them against water intrusion, leaving the remains in reasonably good condition. Legends came to life. It's reported that Dement had previously studied Amazon indigenous communities for more than 2 decades and had heard of legends of very tall, pale-skinned people who used to live nearby, he said. Community elders described Dement as a race of giant, peaceful Amazonians who were welcomed by the indigenous Shuar and Akuar people. However, the locals believed these people belonged to the quote-unquote spirit world and were purely mythical. Now, concerning the real-life giants, since the announcement of this discovery, several reports have vastly exaggerated the dimensions of the finds, with 7 feet being reported as 7 meters. The bones have also been enormously connected with hoax photos and a reconstruction of an Ecuador giant, which was fake skeleton for a now closed theme park in Switzerland. These false reports should not detract from the actual discovery of 7 to 8 feet skeleton remains in Ecuadorian and Peruvian rainforest, which are being significantly studied. And while seeming to fit the ancient legends of a mythical race, such skeletons are not unheard of or unproven in scientific literature. Other such cases of highly tall humans or giants can easily be referenced, such as Robert Wadlow, known as the Alton Giant, cited as the tallest person in recorded history. Wadlow was born in Alton, Illinois, in the U.S. in 1918, and at his death was 8 feet 11 inches. That's 2.72 meters tall. Another of the many cases of modern gigantism include that of Charles Byrne, 1761 to 1783, so he died when he was 22 years old, known as the Irish Giant, whose skeleton is now on display at the Royal College of Surgeons of England in London. Measurement of his skeleton measured him at approximately 7 feet 7 inches, 2.31 meters tall. Earlier this year, archaeologists in Bulgaria discovered the remains of what they've described as a huge skeleton in downtown Varna, a city on the shore of the Black Sea, whose rich culture and civilization spans some 7,000 years. The size of the bones was said to be impressive, and that they belonged to a very tall man, quote unquote. As such cases exist in history, it stands to reason there were cases of individuals or even communities of people who were seen as giants to the ancients. Results of the reported Freie University research are to be published according to Demand, who is said to be examining DNA samples from the Shuar community near the excavation site to see if they connect with the skeleton remains from the ancient settlement. And hopefully the published information will shed light on the people who lived in the Amazonian rainforest hundreds of years ago and how they might have interacted with the Shuar and Akuar people, possibly sparking myths and beliefs passed down for generations, resulting in the legend of the Ecuadorian giants. This is originally by Deshi News Post on Collective Spark. And let's remember also that we do have a lot of giants recorded in history. In the Old Testament, for example, one of the well-known, David against the giant Goliath. And Goliath was of 5 giant brothers who were just like him, 6 fingers, 6 toes, and very huge stature. And he of the Philistines. The Philistines were supposedly coming from ancient Crete, and they were giants. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support.